Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Chabika, a therapist here at Ananya CDC, and I'm thrilled to be joining you today. My specialization is in child development, and it's a joy to put my master's in psychology to work, helping families navigate these crucial years. Now, if you listen to our last episode, you'll remember Yuganti and Madhvi ma'am dived into the heart of feeding challenges. They explored the why behind those mealtime struggles, painting a clear picture of the spectrum from picky eating to all the way to problem feeding. Today, we are building on the foundation. We are shifting gears, moving from understanding to action. We'll be focusing on the how. How can we transform those mealtime battles into a positive experience? How can we help our children to develop a healthy and happy relationship with food? And to help us explore these practical strategies, I'm excited to welcome back Madhvi ma'am. She's a leading expert in pediatrics feeding and a guiding force here at Ananya CDC. Madhvi ma'am, it's wonderful to have you back.
Thank you, Chavika. It's a pleasure to be here again. I'm looking forward to a conversation. Sharing practical strategies is so important. It's where the real change happens.
Absolutely. Let's jump right in. In our last episode, we talked about creating a positive mealtime environment. Can we start there? What are some concrete steps parents can take? How can they set the stage for success?
Creating a positive atmosphere is fundamental. It's the foundation for everything else. First, think about routine. Children thrive on predictability. Having regular meal and snack times helps regulate the appetite. It also creates a sense of security. Aim for a consistent schedule even on weekends. Try to stick to it as much as possible. Second, minimize distractions. Turn off the TV. Put away phones and tablets. Make mealtimes a family affair. Focus on connection. Talk to each other. Share stories about your day. This helps children associate mealtimes with positive social interaction. It's not just about the food, it's about the experience. Third, be patient and understanding. Remember, it can take multiple exposures for a child to accept a new food. Don't pressure them. Don't force them to eat. Offer a new food alongside familiar favorites. This creates a sense of safety and control.
Those are excellent points, ma'am. The idea of a calm, connected mealtime is so appealing. But what about the power struggles? So many parents talk about those. How can we avoid turning mealtimes into a battleground?
Power struggles are common, but they're often counterproductive. They can create negative associations with food. They can damage the parent-child relationship. One key strategy is to offer choices. Within limits, of course. Instead of asking, do you want broccoli? Try, would you like broccoli or carrots? This gives the child a sense of control. It makes them feel involved in the decision-making process. Another powerful tool is the division of responsibility. This is a concept developed by Ellen Satter, a leading expert in feeding. Parents are responsible for what, when, and where the food is offered. Children are responsible for whether and how much they eat. This takes the pressure off both parents and children.
That's a fascinating concept, the division of responsibility. Can you elaborate on that a bit more? How does it work in practice? Many listeners have this concern about if they don't ensure that the child eats, the child will remain hungry and won't get proper nutrition.
It's about trusting your child's internal cues, their hunger and fullness signals. Parents provide nutritious options at regular times. The child decides what and how much to eat and from those options. Let's say you offer paratha, dal chawal, khichdi or chicken. The child might only eat paratha. That's okay. They might be more hungry at the next meal. Or they might try chicken tomorrow. It's important to remember that children's appetites can vary from day to day, even from meal to meal. Trust that they'll eat when they are hungry. They'll get the nutrition they need over the course of a week, not necessarily at every single meal. This approach reduces mealtime stress. It fosters a healthier relationship with food.
That makes a lot of sense. Trusting the child's internal cues. But what about exposure to new foods? We know that's important. How can we encourage that without pressure or force?
Exposure is key, but it needs to be done thoughtfully, gently. One effective technique is food chaining. This involves starting with a food the child already accepts, then gradually introducing similar foods. Let's say a child only eats dal chawal. You try adding little bhindi fry with it. You're building on what they already like. You're making small manageable changes. Another great strategy is sensory exploration. This is simply helpful for children with sensory sensitivities. Encourage them to touch, smell, and play with food without the pressure to eat it. They can help wash vegetables, they can help set the table, they can explore different textures. This helps them become more comfortable with food, even if they don't eat it right away.
These are such practical ideas. I love the idea of food chaining and sensory exploration. It makes introducing new foods seem less daunting. You also mentioned earlier about involving children in food preparation. How can that help?
Involving children in age appropriate food preparation is fantastic. It's a powerful tool for several reasons. It sparks their curiosity about food. It makes them feel more invested in the meal. It can also increase their willingness to try new things. Even young children can help with simple tasks. They can wash fruits and vegetables, they can stir ingredients, they can help set the table. Older children can take one or more responsibility. They can help measure ingredients, they can help with the chopping with supervision. It's also a great opportunity to teach them about nutrition. You can talk about where food comes from, you can talk about the different food groups, you can make it fun, educational experience.
That's wonderful, turning meal preparation into a learning opportunity. What about the emotional aspect of eating? We touched on this briefly last time. How can parents address a child's anxiety around food?
The emotional component is very, very important. Many children with feeding challenges have anxiety around food. It might stem from past negative experiences, like choking or vomiting or force feeding, or it might be related to sensory sensitivities. It's important to acknowledge and validate their feelings. Don't dismiss their fears. One helpful strategy is to create a safe and supportive environment. Make mealtimes predictable and positive. Avoid pressure or force. Offer choice within limits. Use relaxation techniques, deep breathing, mindfulness. These can help children manage their anxiety. In some cases, professional help might be needed. A therapist can teach children coping mechanisms. They can help them work through their fears.
It's clear that addressing the emotional side is just as important as the practical strategies. Before we wrap up, any final tips for our listeners?
Remember that every child is different. Every family is different. What works for one child might not work for another. Be patient, be persistent. Celebrate small victories. Every bite of a new food, every positive interaction with food, it's a step in the right direction. Don't be afraid to seek help. If you're struggling, reach out to a professional, a feeding therapist, a dietitian, a psychologist. They can provide individualized support. They can help you create a plan that works for a child and your family. Also, remember to consult a doctor to rule out any other underlying health issues. At Ananya, we are committed to provide holistic, innovative, and effective solutions for child development. We are just a call away.
This has been such an informative conversation, Madhvi ma'am. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. To our listeners, we hope this episode has equipped you with practical tools to transform your mealtime struggles into success. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. There is support available. Join us next time as we continue to explore the fascinating world of child development. Until then, keep those mealtimes positive and those connections strong.